Miss Fortune has one of the lowest AD in the game. That's because her passive, Loft Up, makes her deal additional damage to the first target hit. So if we hit this dummy, you will see that I will deal additional damage to him and an art will appear near the enemy target. As the enemy has the art, if I keep autoing, I won't deal additional damage, but if I change target, I will deal the additional damage once again. Miss Fortune Q, double up, fires a bouncing shot that deals damage to the first target hit and then will bounce to a second target back to him. It's a pretty simple spell, and what I want to show you is that when I Q, my passive goes from the first target to the second target because that counts as an auto attack. So the passive damage will apply. This is quite important because let's suppose that I want to deal really good damage to this guy. What I'm gonna do is Q him first so that he gets the heart, goes on the back enemy, and then I can re-auto him again to get double passive damage. In this way. Double art. Another thing to mention is that if you kill the first target, the second bounce will crit. You can use this often in your laning phase to just deal an insane amount of damage to the secondary target. Depending on what you need, you're gonna either Q the first target, hit a minion, and then hit the first target again, or you're gonna hit the minion and then crit the target that's behind it. Miss Fortune W gives passive movement speed. It is one of the best spells in the game because you don't even need to buy shoes at the start of the game. You are really quick if you don't take damage. And once you take damage, you are gonna lose this buff. We can showcase it here. I'm gonna toggle the tower fire off. And as you can see, I lost my buff here that I had on the downside below. You can reobtain it by simply waiting. It's gonna stack up slowly from 45 and then 19. You're gonna see this tiny animation on the character. But if you take any sort of damage, you're gonna lose it. To prevent this from happening, you can buy Bloodthirster, which is an item that will give you a shield. And if you actually stack up the shield, and the shield actually absorbs the damage without you losing HP, it will tank your passive and you won't be losing it. Keep this in mind because this helps out a lot when it comes to Miss Fortune, especially against the poke comps. You're always really quick and it's really hard for the enemy to hit you, and even if they hit you, you're never losing your movement speed. Another thing to mention is that your W has a cooldown, but you can decrease it by simply proccing your passive as much as you can. So alternating targets makes your W have a perma-up situation. As you can see, I'm always able to W even before the W actually finishes. Do keep in mind though, W is quite expensive mana-wise, so if you spam it the wall laning phase, you're gonna run out of mana pretty quickly. I also didn't mention that pressing W will also give you a tiny burst of attack speed, which is always welcome. It's not that bad. Miss Fortune E, Make It Rain, simply rains bullets from above. It's a pretty big spell, as you can see. The range of this spell is quite high. It's really hard to miss it. You're gonna slow enemies by 40%. It's an AP spell, so you're not gonna scale it up that much. And the important thing to notice about Make It Rain is that you can proc effects such as First Strike and Mana Flow, which are really easy to stack because this spell is pretty easy to land. As you can see, I will use Make It Rain, and I will proc both First Strike and Mana Flow Ban. This will help out a lot later on into the game because you can get a lot of mana for free, really easy to land, and you also get some really good spare gold with First Strike. Miss Fortune Ultimate Bullet Time is one of the best teamfight abilities in the game. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is that it's pretty hard to dodge from a length distance, while instead if you're really near to MF, it's pretty easy to dodge it. So you should always stay as far as possible compared to the enemy so that you get the maximum range possible, instead of staying as near as possible to the character, just like in this case. It will be way easier for the enemy to just like walk away from it. Miss Fortune doesn't have any particular combo. The only important thing to keep in mind is to always use your E before ulting. This because you can proc your First Strike way easily just by pressing E, and then ultimate to slow them down and make sure that they stay inside the ultimate, just like in this way. Last but not least, keep in mind that your passive applies on structures like towers, drakes, and nashors. So if you're in a hurry and you have to win a game, especially the last two towers, instead of clicking only one and using your passive only once, you can alternate in between each tower while pressing W to take them way more quickly.